Hey, MegaJeff here. Time for some epic new releases, new vinyl releases that have come in all within the past couple weeks, most of which in the past couple days or week or so. Anyway, these are new releases. Some are first time on vinyl, some are brand new releases from bands along the road. So anyway, let's check it out. I'm going to start off with Crushing by Creeper, probably a band you've never heard of. They had one album out back in 2012 and then kind of disappeared. They're a Texas kind of thrashy, groovy type metal band from back in the day, 2012. And then they released a single or two in 2020, and then here's a full-length album for 2025. It is on No Life Till Metal Records, so Scott Waters' record label has put this out on a beautiful neon green. Great stuff. Check it out. There's the band. Album cover is killer and is enough to make me want to grab it. It just looks so cool the way that the artwork is. But anyway, if you're not familiar with the band and you're into thrashy groove metal type stuff, check them out. Definitely a great new release. Same with Patriarchs and Black Home. They have a handful of albums out. This is like their fourth, I believe. And then they have like a kind of an EP where they do a bunch of cover songs. The band is mainly made up of two guys that got together, and then a lot of friend musicians on top of that helping them to do the recordings. We have Johnny Kelly on drums. He's been in all kinds of bands like Danzig, Kill Devil Hill, Quiet Riot, Seven Witches, and even Typo Negative. So he's been around, done a lot of material. And then on guitar, we have Dan Lorenzo, who has in Hades, Vessel of Light, and Cassius King, some other bands they have some releases out there, but a little less known to me also. Anyway, just some great stuff. Like I said, they've got a handful of albums out already. I have their album on CD of cover tunes called Covered in Black, I believe. Anyway, so this just came out, and I was alerted by Scott Waters. He's like, dude, go check it out on Amazon. The Home album by Patriarchs and Black, it dropped down into like 10, I don't know, it's $12, $13. It went really cheap. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to grab that. And they're a little bit, they've got styles in there. They're, a little doomy, little, metallic, just metallic-y type, doom type stuff. Anyway, check them out. They've got some great stuff out there. Okay, this next one is a first time on vinyl. This album came out in 2016. After 18 years of silence from this band, basically the guy from the band, it's mainly a one-man band, went on to do other band names, and then he circled back, in 2016 to record the first new Circle of Dust album. Machines of Our Disgrace. Came out on CD back in the day. There's a remix version of this. There's a lot of remix stuff that they do back in the day where they tinker with the songs. Anyway, they finally released it on vinyl. It is a double record set. Just dropped the other day. I think it's on white, yeah. Beautiful white here. So I've talked about them in the past because I have all the Circle of Dust albums. Double record set. Anyway, it is metal, industrial. One man Clayton, basically. He also does Cell Dweller. He also does Scandroid. Got his hands in a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of soundtracks to video games and things along that line. Instrumental type stuff. And so he started off with Circle of Dust back in the 90s. And then, like I said, then he went on to do Cell Dweller. And then he started doing Scandroid, which is a little bit on the poppier side, with Cell Dweller being a little more on the atmospheric at times, soundtracky at times, electronica, but not as industrial. And then this is straight up like more of a metallic. This is like the heavier side of things, metallic industrial stuff. Anyway, this was a great return in 2016, and now we have that on vinyl for the first time. The next one is also first time on vinyl, 2014 album by a classic 80s metal band. Their last studio album of the day, and I believe they recently announced that they are stopped touring or something. Anyway, Kicks, Rock Your Face Off. Last studio album of 2014. I think there was a compilation after this. But anyway, this is the guys tearing it up. This was reissued by Night of the Vinyl Dead, which is going to be Tougher to find. There's only 500 copies. They got 396 of 500. They're a little bit tougher to get stuff by them. They're here today, gone tomorrow, as I mentioned in a previous video. It's on red. Great album. Classic sound of kicks. Killing it with some modern stuff. More modern. 11 years old now, but glad to finally have this one on vinyl. And if you can find it, grab it. Like I said, only 500 copies of them out there, so you don't want to miss out on that if you're a fan. The next two just literally came in this week. So Invincible by Worldview. The CD came out a couple weeks ago. I had to wait because I had also ordered the vinyl and the CD. I saw this band at Immortal Fest in July. Like it says here, epic progressive metal for fans of Queensryche, Fates Warning, Dream Theater, Camelot. So you know what you're getting right there. Soaring vocals, just melodic, heavy. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a great band. Great band. This is their second album. They had an album out in 2015. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't feel like it's been that long. But it might have been. Anyway, they had an album out a handful of years ago. And then they kind of disappeared. And now they're back with an excellent album. Like I said, I saw them back in July live. And was just so thrilled. And the day that I saw them, the day after I saw them is when they announced and posted the album cover and announced the pre-orders for the album. So I ordered this back in July and it finally came in. So if you're into that epic US metal of those bands, check it out. It's a great release for sure. And then a Kickstarter one that finally dropped. It took time, manufacturing, blah, blah, blah. One of my all-time favorite bands. I had to jump on board, and that's the 77s with their new album. First time they've had a new album out in so many years. It's just great when they go back and get back in the studio and do some stuff. So I was thrilled finally to have this. Not a whole lot here to show. It is on, I think there's different colors. And I got the black and white kind of swirly stuff. It is a gatefold. It is a single album. Sadly, I discovered that, so at the time, they had a package deal basically, or add-ons that I did. They also have a 7-inch single, which is 2 bonus tracks, which is a kind of like singles. There's a single song from the album and then a song that's not on the album. Interestingly enough, though, and then I got the CD. Now, the CD has 10 tracks. The album only has 7. All the songs are pretty long. Almost all of them are at least 5 minutes. Some are 6 minutes and go higher. So it kind of makes sense that all 10 songs would not fit on the vinyl. It's kind of frustrating, though, because as a Kickstarter program, they should have found a way to put them all on there, because I supported this in hopes of having it. If I didn't buy the CD, I'd be shortchanged. Now, one of the songs on here is one of the ones that's missing, but it's a different version. This version is like 40 seconds longer. This is a single edit version. You kind of get it. But anyway, so having the CD, having the digital downloads, I have all of them. But it was kind of, it was kind of a little disheartening when I got it and realized we are shortchanged here. But the 2 songs they cut out are like 16 minutes long combined. They're really long songs. But still, maybe a second album would have been great. Maybe a bonus extra disc. I don't know. It's a little frustrating that we don't have the whole thing in this package. But great album. I've listened to it once so far, and it appealed to me already. I've been a big fan of the band since back in the 80s, actually. So glad to see them back, putting out some new music. Thrilled about this. Glad that I joined the Kickstarter. The album is now available for sale on their Bandcamp. To those people who didn't support the Kickstarter, they are there now for you to purchase. That's it, though. Lots of great stuff right on my collection that I'm loving. And anyway, check out some of these bands if you're not familiar with them, and I'll see you later. Rock on and rock hard.